everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a wonderful morning wherever you are in the world. So, I'm doing something for fun this morning. By the way, you're probably wondering, well, what are you doing up so early? Because it's now 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's one of those things where my cat Booger decided she wanted to get me up. And then as soon as I got out of bed, she went back to bed. And it begs the question, why couldn't we just sleep in the bed together? There's plenty of room, but that's what she decided to do. So, since she's taken a nap with my entire bed and decided that I should be out of it, I want to do something for fun because I need a good laugh, don't you? I looked at the 3 hour live that Shantall did where she was essentially going off on different reactors. A lot of it is trash. Don't know if I'm going to cover it, but what I want to do this morning for all of you is I'm going to react to Mr. Snowflake's response to Foodie Beauty. Now, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure you do know already because it's all over the place, uh, Mr. Snowflake released just the trailer for the first part in the docuseries that he's doing on Shantall. So he said in his response video that it's going to be 6 hours total, but it is going to be a docu-series. It's not going to be a one and done. He's doing a whole docu-series, and he's starting out first discussing Shantall during the whole BB era, and then the video after that is going to cover everything and her with Natter. So it's not just going to be one video. It's going to be, I think, 2 or 3. Shantall saw the trailer. She got very upset. Although the first part hasn't been released yet, she's already upset. She's panicking and she's anticipating what's going to be said and how it's going to be said. And if you would like my opinion, I'm very happy to give it to you. I think she, being someone that she's done so much in the way of being offensive and being hateful and doing all kinds of awful things on YouTube, she's guilty of a lot. And those who are guilty of things, that's how they react. When somebody's about to talk about them and show things in a light that's not flattering, they panic and they try to get ahead of the curve. They do that preemptive strike of making the first move before the enemy is even attacked. Not saying that Mr. Snowflake is her enemy, but before the battle's even started, she's reacting. She's making all kinds of claims about the docu-series, saying, oh, this person's hateful, and they don't know what they're talking about, and all this stuff that's going to be shown is stuff that you guys have seen before. And if that's true, Shantall, as I said in my other react, if everything that's going to be shown is stuff that people have seen before, why react so strongly? Because if your VIBs and your Beezers have seen it before, then they've seen it before. So why the sense of panic? Is it because there might be things put in the docu-series or the documentaries that the new Beezers haven't seen, that they're not aware of? Lots of people have come and go on Shantall's channel over the years. There's a lot of older Beezers that are no longer there, quite a few. And there's a new batch. And the new batch, they've come in kind of late to the party, so they don't know a lot of stuff. And every time somebody does a retro react, or they do a docu-series or a documentary of type on Shantall, those that are new Beezers, there's a chance they might come across it and learn a whole lot of stuff and perhaps change their mind about how they feel about Shantall. And I guess maybe that's what she's worried about. The fact that she's been in Kuwait for a year, she put on this whole new image of herself. And those who are new Beezers have no idea of who she was before Kuwait. And maybe they might find out. But I'm doing this react for free because I'm just doing it for fun, because the way that Mr. Snowflake handles Shantall, his response to her, it's, what can I say about it except that it's classy shade at its finest. There's so much cheek, but it's the right kind of cheek. It's not insulting, it's not hateful. He just handles her beautifully. So it's funny. And I feel like having a laugh and giving my thoughts on it. So why don't we just do that this morning? Because the 3 hour live she did, it's just rehashed, same old, her going after different reactors, pointing out different things we've talked about a million times before. This, I think, is much better. So let's just get into it. And I've got my thoughts for the response that I'd like to add in as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will leave a link for Mr. Snowflake's original video down below in the description. If you don't know about Mr. Snowflake, please check him out. Give him a like, give him a sub, because it sounds like there's going to be more than one video done on Shantall. And for the record, Shantall, I think it's rather stupid to poke the bear, in a sense. I think it's really stupid. Before the first part of the docuseries is released, you're going off on Mr. Snowflake. Someone with a really big channel, someone who's known for putting together wonderful documentaries and docuseries, someone who knows how to edit, someone who does quality content. It is such a bad idea to poke the bear when you're dealing with someone like Mr. Snowflake, but that's what you did. You just make things worse for yourself. Anyway, let me just go ahead and get started. I would like to hear what Mr. Snowflake has to say.
Hi, everybody. Right there.
By the way, before we even get started with the video, can I just show some appreciation to you, Mr. Snowflake, for the quiet cheek and the quiet shade you're already throwing at Shantall. The fact that you've got the YouTube silver play button directly behind you. And that is something that Shantall wants so badly, to the point where she's buying subs trying to get there, you know, little by little, so that YouTube won't notice that she's buying subscribers. Although, once she reaches 100K, they're probably going to audit her channel to see if those are organic subs, but they're going to check. Also, I would like to show appreciation to the quiet shade thrown with the books. Y'all take a look at the books. Look, I'll blow it up. Yeah, the 2 books on the table. Yes, we love it. Book shade, classy shade, love that. And I also would like to show appreciation for the lava lamp, because I love lava lamps. They're so relaxing. But loving the quiet shade already, but I'll let you talk, sir.
There with us. Close enough, I'm on. Right. Where am I looking? That one. Hi, everybody. I haven't done this in ages. I haven't done a reaction in ages. I wasn't going to do one anytime soon. But then, oh, that camera. But then something happened. I was having a bath, and then my phone started blowing up. I got 2 text messages. Somebody called Foodie Beauty is kicked off about the opening credits thing I did for 15 minutes and 28 seconds. So we're gonna listen. I've listened to the first however many minutes, but apparently she has a good old rant. Am I recording? Right. Hi, everybody. If you're new to the channel, hiya. Right. How do I screen record again? So you'll be down there.
Hello.
Foodie, right.
Hey guys, hey. I know your girlfriends love to watch me. So what better way to say I love
Oh, I'm sorry to stop it, y'all. Just a little interesting fact about Mr. Snowflake. So I've heard that Mr. Snowflake is a teacher, educated man. And of course, he's going to know how to handle someone like Shantall, who acts like a overgrown brat. So again, he handles her perfectly in this.
you this Valentine's Day than to get your special someone a personalized video from me on Cameo.
I was going to get Jimmy one of these. I still might. Well, I might not now, since you've been ranting about it.
Get yours now and don't delay. Make Valentine's Day a special day.
Maybe I shouldn't drink water because I'm going to spit it all over me.
Yeah, all right. So, today I woke up and chose violence. This video is going to be me addressing these dumb documentaries made about me. Well, they're not just about me. There are a lot made about other creators as well. I'm doing this because
For the record, Foodie, that's your real name. I've had a few videos made about me, and I ranted about none of them.
there's a channel
And they hated me. So.
that, just like the rest, picks on content creators they see as failures, I guess, and it's usually either Amberlynn or I find it weird that a grown man chooses to obsess over the lives of the two same women, basically beating a dead
I've made videos about dozens of people.
horse.
And the thing is, Mr. Snowflake, you're not like a regular reactor to Shantall. You don't cover all of her content. You're just doing a docuseries. And you've done docuseries and stuff on other people. But because you're doing a docuseries on her, like anybody who does anything on Shantall, whether it's on the regular or not the regular content, if she feels that it's going to be something that criticizes her in any way, she classifies that person automatically as a hater. And oh, the things you're going to have to say, they're going to be hateful. Even though she has no idea, because the docuseries hasn't even started yet. So she's a very strange person, is Foodie Beauty. She puts herself on YouTube, and she is what's classified as a lolcow because she overshares, and she does that freely. She monetizes every single thing she can about her life. She wants to just turn it into a three-ring circus, and yet if somebody criticizes the circus or does a docuseries on the circus, suddenly it's a problem. It's an absolute problem. Imagine that. Someone who basically, for lack of a better word, lives on YouTube, like her whole entire life is YouTube, because she doesn't have any kind of a private life to speak of off of YouTube. She has no personal interest. She has no outside passions, because she decided to devote 100% of her time to YouTube and put herself out there the way that she has, and just cultivate this absolute negative image of herself, piece by piece, detail by detail. If other people decide they want to examine the picture, examine the history, she panics, absolute panics.
But whatever. Speaking of beating dead horses, figuratively, not literally, of course, this new quote unquote docu.
And I find it interesting, sir, that she refers to herself as a dead horse. Don't you? She's referring to herself as a dead horse. What a way to describe yourself.
Series.
It is a docu, quote unquote. Condescend much? Maybe I'll put that in the script. Foodie Beauty could be very condescending. See how you like that?
Yeah, not a good idea to do this to someone like yourself, that the series isn't out yet and you can make changes to it. Just coming after somebody before they release something, they could change it and make it entirely different.
Being made about me.
I'm only kidding. The script so far, I thought was really fair. It's got why am I looking there? That one. It's got really yeah, really fair. It's got nice bits about her. It'll cover all the horrible stuff, but I'm not gonna, like, I don't know, kick off and call her an idiot. Maybe I will now. I don't know.
You see, Shantall, things could have gone a completely different way. He was just going to do a docu-series on you, and there might have been a different tone. But here you are doing this rant video, showing an ugly side of yourself to Mr. Snowflake, showing your entire bottom, just, and the tone might change just because you did. This was a dumb preemptive strike. This is really stupid. Really, really stupid.
Spoiler, will not contain anything new that you haven't heard a million times before.
It might not. I don't know. I've watched as much as I can for episode 1. For stuff for episode 2 and 3. There might only be 3, 4 episodes. I'll watch as much as I can. You might have heard it all before. A lot of people won't have, because a lot of people have said to us they know the name Foodie Beauty, but they don't know anything about her. About you.
Yeah, like, and that's what she's scared of. She's scared of her newbiezers who don't know about her past. Newbiezers that might not know about her Cuba rage, where she was, again, showing her entire bottom when she was in Cuba, going off on the Beezers, blocking everyone, insulting everyone. Maybe the new Beezers don't know about that little part in the Cuba rage where she said to everybody, I will manipulate the F out of you and then come on the next day and be sweet as pie and you'll eat it up. She was self-confessing to be a very manipulative person. I wonder if the new Beezers would be interested in that part. There's a lot of parts they don't know about. And for her part, Shantall has made sure that they don't know about those things from her channel because she's deleted thousands and thousands of views and so many videos just trying to cover up her past. And in Shantall's world, if she deletes it, it never happened. Although there are archive channels and clip channels and just all kinds of stuff, channels on YouTube, we've got those deleted clips. We've got them all. We've got all the receipts. That's another reason why she really doesn't want to do a react to the reactors alone, because anything she has to say, we've got a receipt to prove her a liar. If she doesn't want to be proven a liar, although she is a liar. She's a liar, she's a manipulator, she's conniving, she's a scam artist, she's a lot of things. That's why she is having this knee-jerk reaction, Mr. Snowflake. Someone who's guilty of a lot of wrong, and they know they're guilty of a lot of wrong, and the mountain of the wrong is so big and so high, they can't possibly sweep it all under a rug. So knowing that you have a huge channel, sir, knowing that there are archive channels and people in the community, people on Twitter that can easily reach out to you and send you stuff for your docuseries, she is shaking in her boots. By the way, Mr. Snowflake has put out the word that anybody who has anything from the BB era, where she was acting badly, he's very interested in.
You, Foodie. So the docuseries it'll be good for those people. But even if the people who are experts, they probably know more than me, and yeah, they'll probably have heard all this before. But hopefully it's presented in a way that's entertaining, interesting to watch.
Or also from these few other overly dramatic, embellished bullcrap documentaries, such as Canadian Horror Story, for example.
I watched that one. I watched that one a couple of days ago.
First off, a documentary is supposed to be educational. There's nothing educational about me, about these.
There is. There's loads in there that we're going to learn. Just wait. Stop.
Yeah, like, and I concur with you, Mr. Snowflake. It, in a sense, it is educational. It's educational for anybody who wants to learn about Shantall, that they haven't been around for the last 5 or 6 years. So in a sense, it is educational. A lot of things that have happened over the years can be almost condensed down into a docuseries or a documentary. People can get like a condensed snapshot of different things that have happened over the course of time in a concise, precise storyboard. She doesn't want anybody to put the pieces together. She doesn't want anybody just to explain the story clearly using her own content, using her own words, using her own video clips. See, that's the beautiful part about it. I haven't seen your docuseries yet, but it looks like you're going to be using a lot of clips of just Shantall talking. You're not just saying, here's my opinion. You're going to show her actual clips. And how can you argue against that? When it's you saying these things, doing these things, how can you argue against it? You really can't. It's the most absolute positive proof you can offer.
The panicking, just wait.
Videos, because you were only able to make conclusions based on limited information about my life. What is educational about me eating and telling stories from my past, for example?
Well, now I know that you've pooped on somebody's walls after a threesome. That's educational. No, I'll let Foodie. Am I addressing Foodie or just people watching this? I like calling her Foodie. Okay, I'll just talk to people, and we'll assume she's not watching. No, for most of it, well, not for most of it, but for a lot of it, I'm gonna let her speak and tell her side.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll keep going.
My life is really not that interesting.
It's amazing. I just said poop on walls after threesome.
To warrant 3 hours of it.
Actually, that part in the script is in the part where I talk about how much I like you. So I might put it in the main part now.
An in-depth character study that these creators fabricate. Not only that, they try to analyze me from what seems to be a psychological approach, or about.
I haven't a clue about that stuff. I mean, I did do it in college, and then dropped out after 3 months. But I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do
eating
it.
Disorder or other matters when they're not even.
You know, so she's accusing anybody who puts together a docuseries or a documentary of, oh, you're trying to act like my therapist or my doctor, you're trying to analyze me. Well, none of us are psychiatrists or doctors. But the world of foodie beauty, when you look at it the last 6-7 years, it's just absolute bonkers madness. It's insanity at its finest. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So you're just trying to make sense of it all. You don't have to be a psychologist or a doctor to look at a situation that makes no sense and try to make sense of it just so you can understand it. So maybe she's afraid of that also. That somebody might put together something simple to understand, and there might be a sense of understanding about what's going on here and point at her way of thinking, maybe.
Qualified to do that.
I'm not, no.
Being some edgelord living in your parents' basement, reading Kiwi Farms all day.
Right. First of all, I wish I lived in my parents' basement. I'd save so much money. What else did you say? What's an edgelord? By
the way, if that's his basement, that's a pretty nice basement. I'm just saying.
About my eating disorder or other matters when they're not even qualified.
And I'm on your side about the eating disorder. Just wait.
Mr. Snowflake, can I say this, sir? I'm not on her side for it. I'm not. I'm not on her side with it at all. Let me tell you why. Because she's got an issue with food. She's been in different treatment centers. Do I argue that she's got a problem with food? No, I think she does. But where I have a problem with Shantall is the fact that she knows she has a problem and she's not interested in treatment at all, despite the fact that she's got the money, the time, the resources to get herself better. What's really horrible, really disgusting about her, and this is coming from somebody who's dealt with ED. She gets on YouTube, and in my opinion, sir, she has basically turned her channel into a fetish channel. She's looking for a certain kind of audience for her channel. She's looking for the feeders. She's looking for that subset of people, the feeders, who will subscribe to her channel, encourage her to eat, send her super chats. Maybe they contact her off of YouTube for, say, custom content. But it gets worse. Uh, in my opinion, the content that she's doing on YouTube, given her problem with food, it is self-harm content, because there's no possible way that you can have BED, have that problem, it's raging and it's active, and sit down and do a mukbang, because all that's going to do is trigger you to binge over and over and over again. She gets on camera, she does her mukbangs, whether live or recorded. Then she does her live chats where she may or may not be eating. The people in her chat, they might discuss food with her, which is going to put the thoughts of food in the front of her brain, which is going to cause her to want to eat. Again, either during the live or after the live, just constantly fixated on food, constantly thinking about food. She has no coping mechanisms, no coping skills. She's impulsive. She has no self-control. She needs inpatient badly, but she'll never get it because she cannot turn that into monetized content and make money off of it. Hence the reason why I feel she will never take the steps, because she can't publicize it. What's really horrible and disgusting, Mr. Snowflake, on many of her videos, like she's always trying to get into different areas of YouTube that she has no business trying to access. She pretend to lose weight, so she'll tag her videos with weight loss. Then there's other videos where she talks about BED, and she'll tag the video with BED recovery, even though she's not in recovery, not even halfway there. There are people on YouTube, they're looking for channels that maybe might reinforce them being in recovery, or they might be on that path. And they might innocently come across Shantall's video, and if she's there essentially having a binge, that might trigger them. But she doesn't care. She's trying to put herself into different algorithms by use of titles and tags, attracting people to her channel. And by doing the harmful self-harm content, she might trigger people to relapse in some way. So that's just my opinion. Okay, it's bad enough that she's hurting herself on camera and off, but she's potentially hurting and triggering other people. And that I have a real big problem with.
I was going to make a really nice little series about you. Now you might not be so nice
You
now.
have. Being some edgelord living in your parents' basement, reading Kiwi Farms all day.
I've never used Kiwi Farms. I don't know how. Oh no, I tried once when I was doing was it Cyrax? I want to say Cyrax. I think I started when it was doing a reading Kiwi for Cyrax, and then 2 minutes later it got shut down. So I don't know how to use Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, she's claiming that you're going on Kiwi Farms for your information, but you're someone that you're going for the facts. You're going for the absolute proof. You're not going for hearsay or gossip. You want absolute proof. But you know what Shantall's doing, Mr. Snowflake? She's projecting. She's absolutely projecting right here. Because she's someone that she's not about researching facts or doing research or doing homework, putting content out there that is quality, that requires research or homework or gathering things and putting things together. This is projection right here. She's someone that might go on Kiwi Farms looking for things to talk about, looking for things to find out about people, so she could have a, gotcha moment. Like, I'm going to find out the most horrible thing on this person, and then I'm going to talk about it in a live stream for some lame gotcha moment. So everything she's talking about here that she's saying that you're doing, she's done. And she absolutely does.
Does not make you a credible source of information.
I'm not the credible source of information you are. I'll let you speak.
You are not doctors, you are not therapists, and you are certainly not experts on my life.
So I know, that's why I let you speak. Just weird.
Dumb documentary.
And the very cheek of her saying, you're not doctors and you're not therapists, even though we never claimed to be. But this is the same person who gets on YouTube and spreads misinformation all over the place and dangerous messages. Dangerous. Coming on YouTube, talking to everybody about taking diabetic medication. But in my opinion, she's misusing it. She takes the medication to keep her blood sugar down enough to where she doesn't go into a diabetic coma, because her blood sugar gets up into the 300s, 400s, which is insane. But coming on camera, making a big deal about her diabetes, and then coming on camera and also binging, straight up binging. I'm sorry, Shantall, eating a portion that's equal the size of 4 people, that's a binge. That is an absolute binge. This is coming from somebody that has dealt with it. You're trying to paint one picture of what you do to people and say, oh, I'm not doing this over here, so it must not be that. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Gaining 13 pounds in 1 week. How do you gain that much that quickly? Unless you are straight up way overeating, madam. 13 pounds in 1 week? That's almost 2 pounds a day every day. So you over there spreading misinformation, you over there sending out mixed messages on YouTube, that you can be on YouTube with an ED. And even if you have an ED, like, go ahead, do mukbang videos. It's okay. No, it's not okay. Anybody that has an addiction or disorder, you should seek help and treatment. And there's no shame. There's no embarrassment in doing so. There's no shame in saying, I'm over my head. I need help. Let somebody know what's going on with you. Let people be aware around you if something is wrong. Reach out to help, get the help, get into treatment if you need it. Go to counseling, go to therapy, develop different coping skills and coping mechanisms to where the problem isn't on top of you, you're on top of the problem, and you can get your life back.
It starts off with some dramatic cinematic intro. Imagine, like, how am I that interesting?
You know, it starts off with you explaining your upbringing. Right, I'll tell you my little secret structure. It's not really a secret. I want everybody to be on your side at first, so I'll let you tell your stories. Excuse me, fully had some water. I'll let you tell your story. And the sad stuff about your dad leaving, that's not good.
Right.
What else was there? You struggle with food since you were a kid.
Right.
I think these things will get people on your side.
Mm-hmm.
But I might take all that out now.
You see, Foodie, shooting yourself in the foot. Should have kept your mouth shut. It sounds like the docuseries was going to go a different way, because you're showing your entire butt. Now the tone has changed. I don't know. This is your series, Mr. Snowflake. It's creative control. You have creative control over all of this, but certainly it's not going to help if Shantall is showing her ugly side to you the way that we've seen it for the last 6 or 7 years.
Anyway, I guess I'm flattered.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the music is super
Maybe I shouldn't have read it. I should have read it.
Because it sets the tone of sadness, hopelessness. Super annoying. Anyway, I guess I'm flattered.
Are you or not?
So the music is super annoying.
The music's amazing.
It is.
It sets
Took 2 hours to find that.
the tone of sadness, hopelessness.
No, it does not. It's amazing. Hold on. Where's the music? People are loving it. Who was it? Liar Liar by... I want to say Joy.
I think the trailer by itself looks amazing. You could tell a lot of work went into just that trailer. I can't wait for the docuseries to come out. It's going to be amazing. Amazing. And, you know, I had a thought. I'm going to share it with my subscribers. This could be nothing. This could be something. So we all know that Shantall, she's desperate to get to 100K. She's trying to go about it covertly by buying 100 subs here and 100 subs there. Mr. Snowflake's channel, as you can see, it's over 100K. FOODIE's birthday is next month. It's in March. What if she's working backwards to go forwards? Just a thought. What if she's raging about Mr. Snowflake on purpose? Because she has said before, any attention is good attention, even negative attention. So purposely raging about Mr. Snowflake on her channel on purpose to give her content at that moment, but also to let her subs know about the documentary, the docuseries. But just when she rages, that's when people watch the content the most. So maybe by having a back and forth with Mr. Snowflake, like, she's got to know that some people might come to her channel because of that and sub up to her, and that's what she's hoping for. Maybe by going off on Mr. Snowflake, that will push her over the edge to 100K. You know, acting like she's upset when at the same time maybe secretly she's excited because this could be like a big jump for her. Just a thought. Tell me what you guys think in the comments.
I think the music's amazing. What are you talking about?
As the subjects feel that way about our lives. Maybe some do. That's their problem.
No, it was to get everybody pumped up and excited.
I don't, and here's why.
Oh, go on.
And here's why I don't care.
Oh, Mr. I don't care. Mr. A little reactions, talking to myself.
I don't, and here's why.
My mum's basement.
And here's why I don't care if people cancel me.
I don't want to cancel you. I don't want to cancel you at all.
Make 4-hour documentaries about me.
It's going to be 6 hours.
Because I know
6 hours, FOODIE. You know, can we just show some appreciation to anyone on YouTube that they actually take the time to put together a documentary or even a docuseries? The work that goes into a documentary, a docuseries is insane. My friend Erie Pepperoni, she put together some videos on FOODIE, and it took her weeks to do it. Just the hours spent running around looking for the right clips, the sound bites, putting together the video clips, just piecing it all together. It sometimes takes a long time. And Mr. Snowflake is doing a docu-series, which means there's gonna be more than one. That's a lot of work. And FOODIE's not going to make it easy because he can't just go to her channel and just pull up different videos and pull clips off of them. The running around involved. Maybe going to archive channels or having channels contact him and send him stuff. And, you know, just putting it all together. It's a lot of work. A lot of hours spent editing, making different graphics. A lot of work involved, y'all. A lot. And yet she's going to put it down. She's never done that much work in her life.
Human. I know I'm flawed. Show me what.
Good. That's why people are going to be on your side. I always say it. Rocky's flawed, and we all get behind him.
One person with a perfect life or past, and I'll shut up.
I know.
Just one.
I put it in the script. Anyway.
God made obstacles for us as tests. Life is personal and each individual.
And a lot of people noticed this when she did this response video. It felt like FOODIE was reading off of a script. Like the way she was talking, she wasn't speaking from with her entire chest, like they're just free flow thought. She wrote a bunch of stuff down. Yes, she did. That's when you know she's pressed. That's when you know she's really pressed. She's got to write some stuff down and read off that script, trying to make important points. Although all she did was, poke the bear.
Has their own tailored path. So unless, and this is key, unless you are living in that person's shoes or life path, you really cannot say what you would do or how you would react to certain situations because you are not living it. You will always be looking from the outside in, and that gives you a very limited view. Trust me.
Okay, I'll trust you for now.
Second, I have not done anything so terrible as to warrant that much criticism. I'm sorry.
All I'm going to say is those of us that know better. Those of us who've been watching Shantall for years, we know better. And we've got the receipts that prove we know better. And the list of receipts is long. We got an entire box full of receipts. It's overflowing. There's so many of all the offensive things she said and all the offensive things she's done. It would take all day to put all the receipts in order and just put them into folders about the different ways she's offensive. And her earlier comment about no one can judge me, you can't judge somebody, you haven't walked a mile in my shoes. She doesn't want to be judged. At the same time, she judges other people. She criticizes other people. I say once you do that, turnabout is fair play. If you dish it out, then you can certainly take it. And if you don't want to take it, then don't dish it out in the first place. But she's made plenty of judgments on other people and how they live and where they live. And, like you live in a Motel 6 or you're in a trailer or, this, that, and the other thing. She is a judgmental person who doesn't want to be judged. She made a point to come on YouTube and turn her life and her channel into a 3-ring circus. But we're not allowed to criticize what's going on within the circus. But yet she wants to make money off the circus. So a lot of moving parts.
Sorry, but it's true. People pick apart every little detail. Irrelevant, trivial details. If I play
I try and cut out all the, just giving spoilers for the series, I try and cut out all the trivial stuff. Because one thing I learned doing the Amber series is you don't need to know everything. So there's loads of little bits I've missed out on purpose because it doesn't serve any purpose, it's not interesting. I'm trying to keep the important stuff in.
Video game I suck at the first time I play it as a first timer amateur, which is normal. That somehow warrants a 5-hour live stream.
Like she's bringing up her gaming stream, her recent gaming stream, while addressing Mr. Snowflake. How is that relevant and why does that matter? She's trying to use points to support herself and defend herself, but that Foodie is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with Mr. Snowflake. By the way, I tried to react to your gaming stream. It sucked so bad that halfway through, I just gave it up because you weren't doing anything. You weren't even really playing the game. You spent entirely too much time complaining and saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to move. Although you want to make money off of gaming, but yet you're not going to take the time to figure out how to play the game beforehand. So when you go on live, you can play it and be much more professional. On that note, expecting to do a gaming stream and thinking that the game is going to carry you all the way through, that you don't have to give great, interesting color commentary, that's not true. You have to be more on top of the color commentary. You got to be more entertaining if you're going to do a gaming stream with talking added. Other people have done video game playthroughs where they don't talk. I love watching those too, just to get a sense of the game before I buy it. You didn't even show yourself on cam. There's so many mistakes there. But we're not here to talk about her gaming stream or the mistakes she made or how unprofessional she is or how tacky she is. We're here to talk about the response, so let's just keep it there.
Similarly with these documentaries, a 3-hour ordeal on me eating
6 hours.
pasta and going on and off diets and talking about my abuser and
The diet, struggling with your diet, again, I've put that in so the audience actually get behind you, because everybody struggles with diet or starts something and then fails. I do it all the time. No, I'm not having to go at you for that.
key victim shaming.
I got such a problem with her saying that. Oh, I've got a problem. I'm so tired of this woman calling herself a victim when she never was. I've got such a problem with that, because that is such a slap in the face to those of us that we actually were victims. I got a problem with that. Those of us that were victims and we became survivors. The whole situation with Natter, she was never a victim. Can we please make that clear? She was never a victim. Everything she did with Natter was by choice. She chose to talk to him. She chose to see him each and every time that they spent time in each other's company. She was the one who had the car. She drove to his house in Gatineau and then to Montreal. If he was such a horrible person, if he was an abuser, she could have cut it off anytime she wanted and never gone back. Blocked his number, stopped talking about him, the end. But she kept going back and she kept talking to him, which tells me, as someone that I've been through DV, whatever was going on with those two wasn't so horrible. Because if you're around somebody who's abusive, what happens, folks? You want to stay away from that person as much as possible. You don't want to be in their company. You want to leave them alone. And if somebody is really abusive, really horrible, you will go out of your way to put some distance between you. You will move to another city or another state if you have to. You will block their number. You won't even think about them. You don't want to think of that person's name. You don't want to recall anything, a memory where they were involved, because it just hurts too much. Little interesting pattern with Shantall, Mr. Snowflake. She's got a definite pattern of borrowing off of other people's pain and other people's experiences and just spinning it as her own. Let me give you some examples, sir. Her grandmother had sciatica, and recently she started up this ridiculous sciatica arc, claiming that she had sciatica pain when she really didn't. She really didn't. Claiming that she was in immense amounts of pain, but oh, I'm going to lay down and not move. And yet she could move around. Saying, oh, sitting is too painful for me, but yet she was sitting at a desk and we could hear her mouse clicking and moving around the room. She had sciatica pain, but she was laughing with no issue. She had no painful spasms, which those of us that have suffered with it, we know what those spasms feel like. Another example, this whole thing of her being a victim of domestic violence. Isn't it interesting, sir, that she told us herself that some time back she worked at a battered women's shelter? And I'm sure that she heard the stories from the other ladies who were true victims of things they've been through. And then years later, she talks about being a victim of DV, although, again, in my opinion, she never went through that. In the beginning with her and Natter, she would come home with bruises on her chest and show them off proudly, saying, oh, we had just had rough sex. It's interesting how that bragging about rough sex and showing off the bruises suddenly became abuse when she got mad at him. She would just flip-flop back and forth. That's right. Did that too. And then I've heard recently, she told a whole story of almost unaliving herself, and yet that was somebody else's story. So she's got a pattern of making up things. If there's anybody around her that's been through any kind of pain or discomfort, she will borrow off of their stories, off of their experiences, spin it as her own. And she does it as a way to gain sympathy from the audience, gain money from the audience, and in a way, pain bond and trauma bond with the people in her audience. She's a very manipulative person. She's awful. You know, she's not been through much in her life, in my opinion, but she tries to act like she's been through more just so she can have an excuse to act badly and people will forgive her.
Sorry.
What did she say? Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Sorry, Foodie.
On me eating pasta and going on and off diets and talking about my abuser and low-key victim shaming. Sorry.
You know, I'm not into victim shaming, but I will shame is somebody who acts like a victim and isn't one. I will shame you all day long for claiming something that never happened to you for the sake of profit. I will shame you for that. Because that's just straight up lying and deception.
Victim shame.
Or abuser. This new series.
I saw a little bit, because the first episode is about the BB era. And episode 2, and maybe 3, is about Nada. And I only saw a tiny bit of the Nada stuff, because I wanted to finish episode 1 first and learn about that. Finish the script anyway. And the stuff I saw, how Nada was treating Foodie. No, she's not called Foodie. I thought it was horrible. That was really bad. I don't know what she's like with him, but what I saw from him and how he was speaking to her, it was disgusting. So far, I'm on your side with that stuff so far.
Well, again.
Yeah, a little interesting tidbit about the Natter stuff. So Natter never hid who he was and what he was about, but Shantall did. You know, she likes to do that with men. She likes to paint a better version of herself in the beginning, and then once she feels like she's lured them in deep enough, she reveals her more natural, feral self. But I feel there's another side to that picture that she's not painting for the audience. She's not showing an entire picture. Natter was rude to her, absolutely. But there's two sides to every story, isn't there? There's always there's a middle part to that. Shantall confessed to being verbally abusive more than once. And verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse. Like, none of us were in the room when they were having their fights. None of us were in the room when they were having their arguments. What I have seen as a reactor to Foodie is her being verbally abusive to her own audience. She is abusive. And the pattern with abusers, when they are targeting somebody, they will isolate them to where there's no outside influence interfering in their control over the person or the people that they are abusing. They will dish out the abuse. In Foodie's case, her going on blogging sprees and yelling at her VIBs, yelling at her abusers and calling them names and humiliating them and embarrassing them. And then what follows that is the apologies. I'm sorry I acted that way. I'm sorry I treated you that way. Please forgive me. And then whoever the person being abused or the people being abused is, if you care about that person even a little bit, You want to just forgive and forget and move on because you care about them. So you do, thinking this will be the last time. This will be the last time they act this way. They've hurt me. They realize they're wrong, and we're going to keep it pushing. But someone as abusive as Shantall, they take the forgiveness as manipulation. They will manipulate it. They'll take it as, I really got them and I can continue to hurt them. They'll never leave. So she'll apologize. People will let her get away with the abuse. And then she'll do it again. And then she'll apologize again. And then she'll do it again after that. And then apologize again. And the line of what's tolerated will get pushed back further and further and further. And the abuser becomes much more cocky and arrogant and abusive as a result. And in my opinion, some of those abusers, especially during the Natter era, whether they realize it or not, they were involved in an online abusive relationship with Shantall. So she was doing that to her own VIBs. Who knows what was happening in the room with her and Natter? It might have gotten physical. Don't know. We weren't there to see it, but I can easily see Shantall being physically abusive as well. She's got a temper. She's got a big time temper, as does he.
And this has this ridiculous cinematic trailer, and the first sentence from the intro song they so carefully chose for it starts with basically, "You are the reason your father wasn't there." Nice choice of song.
Thanks.
Blaming a child for their father being
I wasn't blaming you.
Beat absent.
It's just part of the song. It mentions dad.
It's never the child's fault. I can tell
No,
already.
No, kids think it's their fault. That's the. I'm going to explain. It's not your fault, but kids always think it's their fault, don't they? Anyway, we'll get into it more on the episode.
The stage that was set with this.
I think Foodie was triggered over the trailer, the mentioning of the father, because I'm just giving my opinion. I think she's got some deep daddy issues, and I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I think there's a lot of issues that stem from her father not being there, maybe feeling a sense of rejection. And again, this is just me talking. I'm giving my opinion. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I think something in Shantall that she wanted her father's love and approval, and because she did not get it, maybe perhaps she went through life looking for a father's love and approval in men who were not her father. And she wanted the same feelings as a father would give, the same love that a father would give, but just trying to find a different alternative, if you will. But the problem is, only a father or a father figure can give a father's love. If you're looking for a boyfriend or a husband, they're not going to be able to give that same kind of love. It's going to be different. It's going to hit different. So that which you are seeking, you're not going to find it. Shantall has often described Salah as being protective. He's my protector. He takes care of everything. Like she's describing him almost in a fatherly way. But he's not her father. He's a younger man. And he's one that doesn't like Foodie. He's not fond of her. He's exhausted by her. She exhausts people. She wears people out. But just looking for something in other people that she's never going to find. She almost, in a way, in my opinion, she wants to regress to that feeling of being young again and having no responsibilities. And I don't have to take care of everything. I'll just find someone who would take care of it all. And it's entirely too much. It's suffocating. When you're that needy, when you're that clingy, when you're so codependent that you can't make a move on your own. And you're expecting the other person to not only take care of you, take care of everything about you, but you're not giving them any freedom to live their life. that wears people out and it exhausts them. And ultimately, what ends up happening is whoever that person is, they get burnt out on Foodie. They're exhausted, they're empty, and they have to leave just to get themselves back.
Trailer. This will also be a load of crap series.
Maybe.
But nonetheless, it's very lucrative because there's a lot of haters who will eat it up with a fork and spoon. Like I said, beating a
Knife
dead
and fork.
horse. We already heard my life story. We already blamed me for dropping the charges, which, if you simply use Google, many women in narcissistic abusive situations.
You know what? Forgive my bad language, y'all, but I just have to say it. Fuck off, Foodie. Fuck all the way off with your abusive situation. Trying to bring up stats. Oh, it takes 8 out of 10 times for a victim to get away from their abuser. Why is that, Foodie? Why? Why is that? Why does it take 8 out of 10 times? You're trying to use stats to defend yourself. Here's where I'm going to break down the defense, you beast. Do you know why women or people take 8 out of 10 times? Because usually how it goes is whoever the victim is, they're in a situation where they have no resources. They have no money. They have no other place they can go, no safe place to be safe from their abuser. Perhaps whoever the victim is, they have children with the abuser and they got to consider the children. What am I going to do with my children? Where are they going to go? How can I keep them safe? And again, the lack of money. I don't have money. How can I find a safe place without money? There's also the fear when you're a victim that even if you find the strength, and it takes all of your strength to get away from somebody like that, even if you find the strength somewhere inside of you to get away from that situation, what will happen if that abuser finds you? Whatever the abuse is going on in the relationship, if you make that person angry, really angry because you decide you want to get away, what's going to happen if they find you? What's going to be the consequences? That can be frightening. Frightening. You didn't have that same situation, did you? You didn't live with Natter. You had no children with Natter. You had your own home. You had your own car. You had to go see him each and every time. He didn't even have a car. So you were safe from Natter. And another thing that bugs the living crap out of me, Foodie. See, you acting like a victim over there. One thing you don't do, one thing you will never do if you're a victim, is you will not provoke your abuser. And that's something that you did over and over again. You would walk up to Natter and start screaming at him. If you were so afraid of him, if he's so awful, why were you provoking him? Online and otherwise, if you were so scared. Can we talk about that? And even after the allegations, you were sneaking off to motel and hotel rooms. If he was so awful, if he was so physically abusive, how could you spend time in a room with him alone with nobody else there to protect you? If you've been through that stuff, you don't want to be alone with that person. You don't want to raise your voice. You don't want to even look them in the eye. Yeah. So you can stop calling yourself a victim now.
Do that. It's the past.
I'm assuming that's about Nader. I'm not going to criticize.
I don't live there anymore.
With
You
Nader.
are reliving someone's trauma.
I haven't even got to that bit yet. I'm probably going to be.
Yeah, and her abuser, Mr. Snowflake, her abuser, it's been ages. She's not in Canada. She wants to move on from her past, and yet she keeps bringing Natter's name up, and she's doing it with no visceral reaction. None. That's how I know she's a fake and a phony.
On your side about all that?
Ask for your own gain. It's weird and all too common. Anything I have gone through is normal because many have gone through similar things.
I know.
Getting too drunk and saying things we don't mean.
Oh, that's the I haven't watched it. That's the Cuba rage, isn't it?
For example, Cuba rage
No.
gets rubbed in my face like
Say I'm a pro already.
crap that I raged on my abuser after being subjected to a weekend of having my car keys and phone hidden and being pushed into.
Speaking of the abuser thing, can I please bring this up? I'm not defending Natter. He's a scumbag, okay? Can we just make that known? He's a freaking scumbag. But if we're going to bring up the word abuser, can that also apply to Shantall? Can we put that on the table for her as well? Because wasn't she being abusive? Wasn't she? Didn't she sit in her bedroom on a live stream? And when someone said to her, when they asked her the question, have you ever thought about Natter finding another woman and getting rid of you? She said, I think about that all the time. And then she said, I've got a plan. I'm not as stupid as you guys think. Trust. Something about an Aries. So the moment that she said that, I knew what she was going to do. She had a plan. That if he tried to leave her, that she was going to threaten him with something legal or criminal. She was going to use the fact that he had a criminal past against him to, in essence, hold him hostage to her, make him afraid to leave. Because if he left, there would be repercussions. And what happened, y'all? She allegedly went to the cops. Although, during that whole live stream, when her VIBs were pumping her up and pumping her up, I watched it. I did. I watched carefully. She went to the police station, allegedly. She parked her car. She got out of her car. She disappeared for a while. We don't know where she went. There was no proof she walked into a police station. She just left her car. She could have been just sitting somewhere texting on her phone for all we know. And then she got back in. That's all that we know. And then when people later asked her for the police report, she couldn't provide it. She provided a fake document. So I question whether she went to the cops or not. I question everything about her. But the threat was there. And she did it not because anything had happened to her. And she wanted justice, which a real victim would want. No, she did it because she was in a frenzy to get Dee Dee out of Gatineau and have her go back to Montreal so she could go back over to Natter's place and spend time with him. She didn't know what else to do. She wanted to separate the two of them and cause some sort of scare or threat so Dee Dee would leave. She was desperate for Dee Dee to leave because Dee Dee had been there for months. And then after the said allegations, what did she do? During a live stream when she was driving back from like the New York area back to Canada, she confessed that after these allegations, she went over to Natter's place with green products and coffee, bringing him a little care package. What true victim would do something like that? Oh, you're my abuser. I just accused you of something. Let's have coffee. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? I mean, if that doesn't scream, this whole thing is fake, I don't know what is.
Situations I was not comfortable with. The Uvalde incident. I didn't write pumped up kicks, by the way. I didn't attack kids. That is something that gets twisted again.
Well, we'll get to that then. I hope not.
This is a perfect.
Yeah, about that. She was so offensive during that stream. Playing the pumped up kick song, doing the finger guns. Even Pete was sitting on the bed and he's got his head in his hand like, oh my God, this is so bad. This is so awful. He knew it was bad, but yet he was too afraid of her reaction to him to speak up. but he knew it was bad. It was so bad. So bad. She claims, oh, I cried for those kids. Shantall, I will never forget, and I'll let nobody else forget either, how you put a blown up huge picture of one of the grieving mothers for one of the child victims on your community post. So you have so much sympathy, but yet you did that. Putting the picture of a grieving mother on your community post, her crying, her grieving her lost child. But you had sympathy, right? Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Example. I remember saw
People can tell me about it afterwards and point me in the right direction, hopefully. Oh.
for them and mocking the gun culture of the US, because it's not a secret that the US has a problem with shooters. There's a shooting every other day. I was also,
You know, Shantall, if you wanted to spotlight any kind of gun violence in the United States, you could have taken another route with that. Why did you have to use a school shooting? Why did you have to do everything you did that night? You could have made an entire video talking about gun violence, and it would have been better received. It would have been more tasteful. What you did was very distasteful, tacky, exploitative, and wrong. Period. There's no way to defend it. None.
so very drunk, and maybe my day
Oh, well, fair enough then. I was, I was also very drunk. You should have started with that. Your Honor, I was drunk. Get out of here, you scab.
case, but I would never mock deceased children.
I hope not.
Again, another example of how things get twisted to make me look bad. Well, if people want to believe these things about me, I don't care.
I'm not going to make up stuff. I'm not going to make up stuff, honest. I'm not going to make up stuff and twist things and put things out of context. I'm just going to tell the story like I did with Life by Jen, Alweezy. I like that one. I'm not going to just make stuff up. Just wait.
Yeah, she loved your documentary about Life by Jen, but now that the docuseries is about her, suddenly she's got a problem. Isn't that interesting, Mr. Snowflake?
You've obviously never seen my content.
Right.
Recently, I was accused of giggling while telling a true crime story.
You were.
Again, to make me look like a villain. Giggling because the perpetrator had a funny last name. Not because someone was victimized. You moron.
And he murdered 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
And his name was Alan Penis. I don't know what that's about yet. I'll have to watch that.
My cat's nail situation.
Alan Penis. I hope it's not.
Again.
The what?
You morons. My cat's nail situation. Again.
Cat's nails? Oh, she done what Amber's done, where she just lets them grow really long.
I've explained a million times what happened. I don't care if you don't believe it or not.
Yeah, the interesting about Shantall is that she tells us, Mr. Snowflake, us reactors, the reaction community, stop talking about certain things, and yet she's free to bring it up. She went on and on about us talking about her cat BBJ and the neglect of her cat BBJ, the absolute horrible neglect that went on. And yet she's bringing it up now. She doesn't have to. She's addressing you and the docuseries, even though it's not out yet, but she's bringing in all these different issues. You know what she's doing, y'all? And I've had experience with this, so I can talk on this. I had my toxic, abusive ex that I was with. He was an insecure egomaniac like Shantall. And he was one of those people that he would get mad about one thing, and then it would become like a string of pearls effect. You start off in one area, you're arguing about one thing, and just to keep the argument going, you'll string in other things just so you keep on fighting. We're going to start off here, and we're going to add this and add this and add this, and that's essentially what she's doing. Bringing in things that are not relevant to what she's saying just to make herself seem more in the right.
I think you do care, Foodie.
And I certainly don't care if I'm hated.
I don't hate you.
I get asked that a lot. Do you care you are so hated? No, of course not.
No, I'm just having a 15-minute rant for a laugh.
And I'm grateful to have experienced everything in my life because I trust in God's plan.
Good, me too.
Let's see what else. Oh yeah, people like to throw the fact.
Oh yeah. Oh. I'm watching. What was I watching the other week? Where they have a Minnesota. I know she's from Canada. Oh, what's it called? Fargo.
That is
Sorry.
a 15-year-old. I faked an unaliving incident for attention.
I've got that
I
bit.
was very mentally ill. I was admitted to inpatient even, and I had a lot of issues.
And I was drunk.
Again, that was 25 years ago. So get out of my face with that. Some of you haven't even been alive that long.
Right. You did.
You know what she's Foodie's so dumb. She's offering up a lot of things to Mr. Snowflake right now in this 15-minute rant. Things he may know about, things he may not know about, things he might be interested in researching and including in the docuseries. Like, she's offering up all these different things. She's providing him information and little tidbits, and and that's what we love about Shantall, don't we? She lies, but then she tells on herself. She's kind of telling on herself right here. Like, he's learning things about Shantall as this whole thing is playing out. I love it.
Choose violence, didn't you, God?
Why are you all still ruminating and obsessing over my past when it's something I've moved on from?
I can't make videos about your future. Just wait. I just.
Certain incidents I have learned from and moved on. I grew up.
No, you
No,
didn't.
that's good. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of making stupid mistakes when you're younger, and then you learn from them. I use it every time. Rocky.
And she's trying to use that as a defense. I made a lot of stupid mistakes when I was younger. But the things that she's talking about did not happen when she was like 17, 18, 20. This is a woman who is almost 40 years old. She got on YouTube about, what, 2017? She's almost 40 now. So let's go backwards a little bit. She was in her early 30s when all of these things started happening. So usually how it goes, when you're in your 20s, you're stupid. Like, most people are just, we're young, and you make a lot of mistakes in your 20s because you're young. You're brand new to the world. But all of this stuff happened when she's in her 30s, and in your 30s, that's when you basically find yourself and you come to know more about who you are as a person and what you want and where you're going. Like, you're much more settled. So she's been on YouTube for 7, 8 years. A lot of the stuff she's talking about happened in her 30s. So how can you defend that, Shantall? You weren't a teenager then.
You have your trials, you overcome them. People like you, you're a better person for it. Just, you should have waited until you watched the series.
I know.
It's going to change now.
Right?
For the whole
You ruined it.
Yep.
I don't talk about that at all anymore.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Sorry,
moved on from. Certain incidents I have learned from and moved on. I grew up. As for the whole thing with
And I'm sorry, I have to stop you here, Mr. Snowflake. She says, I learned from my mistakes and I moved on. I disagree strongly, because she tried to buy a companion. She tried to buy her way into a relationship with Natter, even though he didn't like her, even though he didn't love her. She tried to buy her way into his life. She tried to integrate herself into his life as much as possible. She spent thousands of dollars on Natter, buying him an iPad, buying him an iPhone, paying for his rent, paying his bills, paying for the phone bill, buying him hundreds and hundreds of dollars in groceries, taking him on expensive trips. None of it worked. And you would have thought, after that allegedly horrible experience, that she would have learned. You can't do that. You can't buy love, especially love from a person that they don't even like you. But what did she do? She found Salah and basically repeated the exact same mistakes, because she did the exact same things over and over and over and over again. So that points in the direction of she did not learn. She didn't learn at all. The person she was with Natter is the same person she is now, just a little more broke.
I don't talk about that at all anymore, if you haven't noticed. for
Talking about it now.
a reason. I've moved on. So should all of you. That was a deeply traumatic time in my life, and the victim
Gosh.
shaming and exploiting the
I'm not
situation.
going to victim shame you. If you're a victim, I'm
is
not going to.
gross. It's gross how people don't believe my story, even though there's video evidence of him being an abuser on video.
Yeah, if there's a video, I'm not going to twist it and make just weird.
Oh, and Dudu, you can keep your abusive kitchen burning about.
And she's talking to Mr. Snowflake and she's addressing Dee Dee. How does that even work? I'm sure Mr. Snowflake, when he gets to the natter part, oh, Shantall. Oh, Shantall, there's just so much stuff out there to show how horrible you are. I wonder if Mr. Snowflake knows about or will get access to those video clips where you were acting all kinds of nuts and you drove to Natter's house and peeping in his windows. Yeah, you're basically almost doing a B&E. I wonder if he knows about that. Maybe he will know about that. Maybe some of the reactors will clue him into that. Like, there's so much stuff that you've done. You know, going to his house and calling the police. And many times you're like, I want to get my CPAP. And yet when Natter told you, here, have the CPAP, you really didn't want it. You just want an excuse to keep going over there. Because you are the person that said about a man, I just have to get into his house. Creepy thing to say, creepy way to think, but for some reason you think that by getting into a man's house that you'll forever have access to him by leaving your stuff over there. That'll give you the perfect reason to keep bothering them. But you're very predatory. Maybe you're bothered about the fact that more people might see how predatory you actually are.
Is it Dee Dee? Because he had a girlfriend, didn't he, Dee Dee? I haven't watched that yet. I'm still new, I'm still learning, I've still got plenty to watch.
Belly dancing, cigarette money leeching man, baby. But anyway, even if no one believes it, I don't care.
Don't care. Join me in part 2 tomorrow when I rent the 40.
I don't care if you make 1,000 crappy documentaries about the same subjects.
I'm only going to make about 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to make 1,000, but
most of the information provided for the series was not given by me, someone who's actually lived these experiences.
It is. The little teaser I uploaded, it's all you. That bit, it's all you. A lot of it is you. I'm not going to just make stuff up for a laugh.
But rather from haters or people with a negative view on my life and personality.
I don't have them. I've got a huge bit in the script about how much I like you, actually, but I'm just going to delete all that.
People think they know me and my past more than I do myself, which is just absurd.
I don't at all.
These documentaries are therefore the least credible sources of information on me out there. Yes, sure, I have an eating disorder. I can't follow through with much and blah, blah, blah. We all heard this before. But
I know, I feel for you on that one.
Still here and I'm still trying and I'm not giving up. Most times you're wrong about me. It's no surprise though, seeing as you listen to critics, quote unquote, critics who are big jokes. They say I'm not married, for example, and you believe it without proof. Even
she's not married. I assumed you were.
Again, she's feeding him information with this rant. Telling on herself. Telling on herself. She's just giving him a bunch of information about things that he may or may not know. Without even watching the docuseries. He's finding out all kinds of stuff right now. He's just taking mental notes.
After I've stated that it is not legal for us to live together here if not married. No one listens.
I believe you.
Stories are made up because I'm not living the reality you have created for me.
I like that cardigan she's wearing.
It doesn't fit your narrative. You were wrong.
Love a cardigan.
Most of you still think it's only a matter of time before I return to the dumpster fire life, and some are sick and waiting for that.
There's no returning to the dumpster fire life. You're living it right now, Shantall. And it doesn't matter if you're in Canada or in Kuwait, you're living that dumpster fire life. Because whether you're in Kuwait or Cuba or Canada, the situation is always the same. No matter what the location, you do the exact same things. You pick a place, you do your mukbangs, and you're making yourself unhealthy. So location doesn't matter. If you are the problem and there are problems inside of you, no matter where you go in the world, No matter where you take a plane ride, the problems are going to arrive there with you. Hence the reason why you need to solve them inside of you. But that's a lesson you refuse to learn.
This. Some want me back with the abuser for entertainment.
This is a bit dumpster fiery. No, I don't want you back.
I'm sorry, Mr. Snowflake. I just have to inject this right here. She hates Natter. Natter is supposed to be her abuser, yet she's talking about him, which is going to lead to what? Him talking about her, which is what's going on. He did a live stream last night calling her a buffalo in the title. So again, if somebody is your abuser, why would you want their attention? Why would you give them attention? If somebody is a horrible, violent, abusive person, why would you mention their name? She's on YouTube. She could easily bypass Natter, not mention his name, not give him any reason to say anything about her, and yet she keeps going. She keeps going. In my personal opinion, I think the whole thing with her and Natter was never completely cut off. I think perhaps they might be communicating behind the scenes somewhere, and they never really let go of each other. And why do I say that? Because when you are done with someone, like really, really done, you burn the bridge, you turn your back and you walk away. She never has. She keeps bringing him up. She keeps talking about him. She keeps referencing him. Likewise, he does the same with her. They go back and forth. They have their things to say about each other. But I've always noticed that they never cross that red line. They never go the final step. She's threatened to sue him. He's threatened to sue her. She's never even struck his channel. They won't cross that red line. Why? Why is that? If you're someone you've been through domestic violence and allegedly somebody's been so horrible to you, why wouldn't you cross that red line? Why wouldn't you burn that bridge? Unless all the claims of abuse are fake and they didn't even do half the things you claim they did. Maybe that's why.
With somebody like that.
Can you imagine?
Be
Sounds
horrible.
like a study on yourself would be more interesting.
I'm doing a documentary on myself. Why I'm such a narcissist, making a documentary on myself. It's going to be a silly one. But,
choices in life, but I learn from them and I move on. Some I'm still working on. It's my life, my journey.
Good.
All this drama is for nothing. People
You're starting the drama. I was going to do
it off my past for profit. Another thing people need to knock it off with is this accusing me of exploiting things that happened to me in my life.
You do all the time. You exploit everything. You not only exploit whatever pain you've been through, you'll even go so far as to exploit other people's pain. You borrow off of other people's experiences and weave that in as being your story when it's not your story to tell. It's not your pain to relate to. But you're looking for content. You're looking for anything to talk about. So if somebody else is around you suffering in some way, suddenly it becomes your suffering. You go overboard trying to paint yourself a victim of anything, whether it's back pain, an ED, domestic violence, SA, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, right, Foodie? Whatever it takes. All to pain bond and trauma bond with your audience and create this overall sense of feel sorry for me. Feel sorry for me. I'm broken. There's things wrong with me. Nobody should feel sorry for you because you are in a position where you've got the money and the time and the focus and the resources to fix yourself, and you do not. You don't want to fix anything wrong with you. You want to exploit everything wrong with you. You've taken your problem with food, and rather than seeking treatment, you gave it a job, and you continue to give it a job, even with your increasing, declining health and all your health issues, and the fact that you are over 500 pounds, which is your issue to deal with or not. Rather than seeking help and getting help, You're saying, no, I don't want the help. I want to get on YouTube and continue to eat when really I should not be eating. Using food as your content when you should not use it as your content, because food is your drug of choice. It is your number one drug of choice. So therefore, you should not be treating that as content. You are monetizing your addiction, and you're looking for people in your audience to fund your addiction, to enable the addiction, to keep it going. And that's incorrect. You shouldn't be using your channel that way. To look for people to back it up and trigger people who might be in recovery for something, who might have had an addiction for something, triggering them and perhaps endangering their recovery, their path to recovery. So you're doing everything wrong with yourself. You're doing everything wrong with your channel. You could fix yourself. You don't. Hence the reason why I'm not giving you any mercy or any sympathy. And I will forever speak out on it. Because those that have been through addiction or disorder of some kind, it's a horrendous personal private battle. And you got to battle hard and you got to fight hard just to get on the other side of it. And then there's someone like you. You're not fighting. You've chosen not to fight. You're not fighting for your life or the quality of your life. And you might be endangering the quality of other people's lives by putting your content on a public forum.
It's my life. I'm allowed to tell my story.
I know, and I'm letting you tell it. Because a lot of, like I said, Laura, stop being silly. A lot of people said they know the name Fraudy Beauty, don't know much about her because they only watch Amber stuff. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. I'll make a 3-4 part series. There you go, 6-8 hours. Watch that twice if you want. Watch that, then you know who she is. Done. That's it.
The only one exploiting things at this point are reactors and these dumb documentary makers.
Pulpy syntax, he's worse than me. Zachary, they love exploiting you. I'm on your side. I'm not.
The past is the past. Move on.
Move on, Pulpy.
So I'm
Stop wearing those silly ears.
And that whole defense she just offered up, the past is the past. Move on. A guilty person talks like that. When they've got things in their past they don't want other people to know. Move on. Don't pay attention to it. Don't spotlight it. Why not? You did. You felt free to exploit everything. So now we can't talk about it after you've done exploited it to the fullest, monetized it all. You want to see exploitation? Shantall's channel is full of it. She exploits everything. Everything painful, everything negative. But that's her. This is her trying to deflect. Don't look over here. Look over here. Just pay attention to me. Pay attention to my narrative. My narrative is the truth. Everything that everybody else says is a lie. Even if they're showing video clips of me speaking, me doing things, that is absolute proof. That's still a lie. Making excuses. Oh, I was high out of my mind when I did that. I was high out of my mind. I was so in pain when those things happened. Therefore, it was okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay at all. But that's her defense. Move on. No, we're not. We're not going to move on. You've not moved on. You're not in a different place these days. You're not improving yourself. You're not improving your health. You're not taking care of yourself. You continue to exploit your problem with food. You continue to get on YouTube and showcase your addiction and try to make money off of it. You continue to give your eating problem a job and attract people that might keep that going. So no, we're not going to move on. We're going to forever talk about it. Suck it up, Buttercup, and deal with it.
Talk about my experiences, but you are allowed to talk about my experiences.
How long's left?
Yes, I struggle with problems still in life, but they don't keep
Me
me
too.
down because why should they? We were designed to overcome things God throws at us. Read
Yeah.
the Quran. It will help you understand these
Oh,
concepts.
good time.
People try so hard every day to bring me down, and it doesn't work, and it never will. Examine your heads and think of why you so desperately want someone to fail. It's a bizarre common ground.
I was telling people, I genuinely thought I'll do a fair 3-4 part series on her. It'll be really good, really entertaining. It'll mention the bad stuff she's done. It'll mention the good stuff. And it'll just be nice and fair, and it'll show
What good stuff?
somebody who's flawed, but I don't know. I might just turn it into a big hit piece now.
Oh,
You're a loser! I just do that for
World, and that's
6
one of
hours.
the reasons that community is a pile of dog crap. It exploits the same overweight women while most of the Gore World people are obsessed overweight.
Is it exploiting? Or is it people making videos on YouTube and then others making videos about them? Like I said, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, a lot of videos made about me, all hating us. It's fair game. It's tough titties. That's what happens.
yep.
Educated, uncultured weirdos. Anyway,
Yeah.
I wanted to address that.
I'll give you that,
Please
that's
don't ever
fair.
come and ask
We're uncultured weirdos. But we're uncultured weirdos with receipts. Aren't we, Foodie? We are the uncultured weirdos with all the receipts. And I'm sure Mr. Snowflake is going to get plenty of material to work with. I'm sure he has quite a bit already because he's very thorough with his research and his homework and putting things together. I mean, if he put out trash content, his channel would not be as big as it is. He puts out the quality content. But Girl World, we're very happy to send him lots of things to use for the docuseries because we got all the receipts that you tried so hard to hide on your own channel by dirty deleting stuff. But unfortunately for you, there's a huge reaction community, lots of channels, lots of eyes on you, lots of people recording. They captured everything. And he might know about quite a bit of it or be sent stuff. That's why you're mad. You know those receipts are out there. You don't know who has what exactly, but you know it's out there and you can't get rid of it. This anger, this outrage is from a guilty person who knows they're guilty. And what are the guilty most offended by? The truth. The truth coming forward, the truth that they cannot deny.
me, have you seen the trailer for the new series on you? I don't care. I don't care.
Oh, I'm starting to like her again now. I don't care. What makes you think I care?
And yet she spent 15 minutes caring, huh, Mr. Snowflake? She's the most unbothered, bothered person we know.
I haven't taken a breath in 11 minutes.
And I don't care if you don't like my content.
I like some of your content.
Here's another example of Gore World being ridiculous. Most of the reactors can't stand mukbangs, but watch every one I make in a 2-hour live stream. Weirdos, voila. Anyway, I'm done giving my opinion on these matters, but to summarize, the outrage.
No, you got 3 minutes left.
Exaggerated, contrived drama for views.
I genuinely won't exaggerate anything. It'll all be fair.
Stupid and entertainment fit for those with low intelligence.
Now I am going to exaggerate.
No, just because I give my opinion on something doesn't mean I'm affected or bothered by it.
You've only said that 4 times.
Right.
A few more, so I believe.
Talk about every single thing I do and screech about it for 3 hours straight.
I won't screech.
Super bothered then. I just get asked a lot about my thoughts on all this criticism, quote unquote, not constructive, most of it, and these are my thoughts. Oh, and by the way, some advice is given out of caring and a good place. I'm not attacking you people.
You're attacking me. You chose violence.
Yeah, exactly. She started the whole video saying, I woke up today and I chose violence. She chose violence, y'all. She's mad. Our girl is mad. She woke up today and chose violence, but before she chose violence, she wrote an entire script. You know, this is not free-flowing violence. I'm just going to speak my mind. I'm going to just let out what's in my heart as I feel it. No, she wrote a script. It's scripted violence. That's what it is.
Oh,
Told a lot. My channel is tanking and I'm boring.
You are.
channel looks really good. You're up to nearly 100,000 subs. Get one of these
Bot subs.
soon if you keep at it, Fraudy love.
I don't say that. I'm at a different phase of my life, and for me, it's exciting. And even if I'm battling health issues and an eating disorder, I'm still grateful for all God has given me, and I don't place my self-worth in the words of poor world
And I'm not bothered by any of these reactors.
or how much money I make. I saw one of these stupid documentaries talking about Boogie2988, another YouTuber, and while yes, he has done controversial.
Again, bringing in topics to this rant that have nothing to do with Mr. Snowflake. Talking about another documentary on another person. How does that relate? She's doing this string the pearls along effect. Let's start here. I'm mad about this. Let's bring this in and this in and this then and this person and this situation, which has nothing to do with the original topic. She's not staying on point. And that's why her argument is it's all over the place. And an argument is more powerful and it makes more sense when you stay on point. You got something to say, you stay on point to give the right perspective. But she's bringing in all these different topics. And it's like, you're all over the place, Foodie. And every time you go all over the place, your argument becomes weaker and your point becomes invalid.
Not so nice things. Sometimes the whole documentary was keeping track of his net worth and how much money he had.
I was going to say, is this one of mine I made on him? But did I go into money? I don't think I can't remember. I don't think she's talking about mine here. I don't think.
He even says he's worthless at one point because he has no money. Money?
Yeah, well, Foodie is the very definition, the walking definition, in my opinion. Y'all probably have heard this saying a million times. Money doesn't buy happiness. She's a cautionary tale of, if you live your life in excess, this is what you might turn into. If you have no discipline, no self-control, this is what might happen to you. If you just live your life in a hedonistic way with no control, no restraints, no rules, no nothing, this is what you might become. But she is the walking definition of money does not buy happiness, because money is literally all she's got. She's got money, but she's not happy. She's miserable, absolutely miserable. She thinks that because she makes money on YouTube, she can just buy people and buy love. And people and love are two things you cannot buy. Not truly, because everybody has their own sense of free will and choice. They can go where they want. They can do as they will. They can think as they will. She tries to circumvent that by throwing money at people, and it just doesn't work. You can't make people fall in love with you, no matter how much money you got. I saw a meme online, and I saved it. And it said, some people are so broke, all they have is money. And that is Foodie. She's got a little bit of cash, but in every other way, she's bankrupt. She's broke. She's morally bankrupt. She's emotionally bankrupt. Her life is in shambles because of her obsession with YouTube and her public image on YouTube. All she cares about is saving face. That's the most important thing to her, is I'm going to be right even if I'm wrong. And I'm not going to give in to the truth. I'm not going to surrender to the truth and let the reactors know that they were right all along about a lot of things. I'm just going to keep up this false face, this mask, if you will, of acting like everything's fine. My husband loves me. We're good, when things are not good. And we know they're not good. You can tell by looking at her and the way she's behaving. What happy person is up at 3 o'clock in the morning raging on their community post or raging in a video, being excessively loud? If there's somebody else in the house, you're going to keep your voice down. You're not going to stream at those hours, are you? So she tells on herself without saying the words. When you're up at 3 in the morning raging, obviously your husband is not there. He's somewhere else. If you're going ham with the food, obviously you're not happy, because if you were happy, you wouldn't be going nuts eating all those calories. You tell on yourself, Shantall, because you're not a good liar. You don't know how to put on a correct front for your lies. The truth will always come shining through.
It does not determine your worth as a person.
I know.
The sad music documentary
I've got none.
basically
I'm
makes a
worthless.
person seem worthless because they are broke. Maybe God made him broke to teach him that his net worth is not measured in dollars and cents.
Maybe he's broke because he spent it all on hookers. But it could have been God as well. You never know.
Right. I'm going to add a little interesting tidbit here. So let's rewind back for a minute to the Cuba rage. I do remember it well, even though it was a lot to keep up with. Shantall was going off about a lot of things. But one part she was going off about was she was lamenting about the fact that she had so much money. She goes, I've got so much money, I hate it. I feel that she put that message out to the universe. She wasn't happy about money, and the universe said, oh yeah, money makes you unhappy? Let's fix that for you. You hate money, the money is the source of your evil. Let's just help you with that. And then her channel started to decline. So she wasn't happy with a lot of money. She was ruining herself. And now she's got less money and she's still not happy. So if you're not happy with a lot of money, Shantall, and if you're not happy having less money, where exactly are you happy? What would it take to make you happy?
But that's for him to learn. I will never ever let money affect my emotions or gratitude for life. This is one big.
What are you ranting about money for now? Look, it was a 1 minute little, what was it, opening credits, just to get everybody, just so everybody knows there's a foodie series coming. Because people keep saying in the comments, oh, I enjoyed the Shit by the Algorithm series. I'll watch whatever you do next. So I said, oh, I'm doing a foodie series next. And I've said that about 20 times. So I thought, oh, we'll tell everyone we're doing
life that has been so valuable to me. Wealth is not monetary to me at all. At one point when I was making, let's say, $20,000 a month,
well
I still
done.
wasn't happy. I blew through it just like Boogie did.
So to make 20 grand a month, I need to be more like Foodie. Right.
Yeah, she's using that as a sort of a bragging point, Mr. Snowflake. She's bragging about her money right there. Like, there was a few months that I was making 20, 30 grand. That happened during the Natter era when things were really, really dark. And the content was disturbing. It triggered a lot of people, people in our audience, people in the reaction audience, that if they've gone through domestic violence, if they've gone through SA, they were being very, very triggered. It affected a lot of people very badly. But she was doing the triggering on purpose to get sympathy from people in the audience that have been through those things. They felt a certain kind of way listening to her, and they just were throwing her so much money. Oh, it was so bad. And her exploiting the topics of DV and SA. It happened multiple times just because she made so much money. She wouldn't leave those topics alone. People were in her comments and in the comments of live chats and other people's comments saying, I've been through those things and I'm being triggered. It's upsetting me. And I'm sure she saw those comments, but rather than back away out of respect for those who have been through those things, she just kept it going. It just kept getting worse. Absolutely worse. It was a very, very dark, triggering time. But it was a triggering time where she made the most money. She was doing everything to make that money. She was throwing everything at the wall, talking about so many awful things, making up stories about what she'd allegedly been through with Natter. That's when she made the most money. And then after the Natter arc, her money was going down because she threw everything at the wall, and she reached a point where, in my opinion, she ran out of shocking topics. Like, once you've given us all you can give us, where do you go from there? Well, there's only one place, and that's to go backwards and do the exact opposite. And I feel that's where this whole Salah arc came into play. Once you've gone on YouTube and you've flashed everybody your naughty bits, top and bottom, multiple times. You've come on camera half naked, dressed in lingerie, getting drunk, being out of your mind and completely blitzed on 2,000 milligrams of edibles to the point where you can barely talk. You're driving while intoxicated. You've exploited the subjects of DV and SA. Where do you go from there? What can you show us? She had to go the opposite way. Instead of taking her clothes off, putting them on, being fully covered. Do the exact opposite of what you were just doing. And because she's not one that she brings interesting topics, positive things to her channel, she doesn't know how to do it well. Like the interest has been decreasing and waning. So what does she rely on now? Rage. Raging at the reactors. Talking about the same 5 subjects, the same 5 people over and over and over again. Trying to use anger as a selling point for her channel. But it's gotten to a place, Mr. Snowflake, where the rages are boring. Because she's not raging about anything new. It's all old stuff. It's all old topics that she keeps rehashing and recycling to the point where everybody is tired of them. Really tired.
Somebody make a little series on me, and I'm going to rant for 15 minutes and go, I'm not bothered though.
And I don't care about
And then I have to pretend to get married and move to...
even 1%.
I'm kidding. I believe you're married. I believe you're married.
How can I regret an experience I needed to happen to learn from it? To learn that
I agree,
value of
yeah.
that money, I had to lose it first. This is how I try to look at life in a positive manner.
That true in narcissistic fashion. If something isn't working for her, if she loses money, if she loses anything, she will reframe it as, oh, it's this over here and I like this so much better. But best believe, if Shantall were making 20, 30 grand a month still, and she had tons of money, the narrative would be a lot different. If she were living in a mansion, driving an expensive car, money in the bank, she'd be throwing that in our faces. Oh, look at all you peasants. I'm making the most money. Look at this car I'm driving. Look at the house I'm living in. She would frame it just like that. But because she's making less money, the reframing is, oh, I'm enjoying living in a frugal way. I'm enjoying living in a much simpler fashion. The narrative changes based on the environment and the situation and her paycheck.
It's not possible to avoid making human error. The important thing
I
is to
agree.
realize they will happen and learn from them. If you
We're on the same. We're like the same person. You and I. We're not so different. You and I, Foodie.
Making the same error.
I strongly disagree, Mr. Snowflake. I think you're a much finer, classier person. She could never. She could never.
You haven't learned how to
Except
deal
I've got better cardians.
with the problem yet.
Right.
It's okay. Forgive yourself and be patient.
Okay.
Trust and turn to God. He's in control of your life.
Shouldn't she be saying turn to Allah since she's a reverted Muslim? She keeps saying God.
You can't be. Anyway, you can make 1,908 documentaries about me, as I've said.
Right, you said I can't do it. Which one I do when I make 1,900.
And my past, and the turd chef. I don't give a flying crap at all anymore.
The what?
And my past, and the turd chef.
She's talking about Natter, Mr. Snowflake. Natter was a chef, or at least he claims to be a chef, although his cooking videos are trash. Even when he was with Shantall and she was buying him the best quality food, spending hundreds of dollars in groceries for him to make cooking videos, they were still trash. Still trash. Still trash to this day.
What's turd chef? Turd or turn?
8 documentaries about me, as I've said. And my past, and the turd chef.
She said turd, didn't she? Sorry. 8
documentaries about me, as I've said. And my past, and the turd chef. I don't give
Turd
a flying
chef?
crap at all anymore.
That her saying turd, that's basically short for natter. So she's kind of sort of saying his name without saying it.
I promise you. Again, Same crap, different dramatic, cinematic intro, all.
It's amazing. Turd chef. I assume that's Salah. Is he a chef?
No, Natter.
I know the text. I don't care about the text. Turd chef. Is that what people have been calling him? Turd chef. I assume he's a chef. It's got to be him.
No.
Is it him?
No.
All to study, a life I've shared openly myself anyway. I always expose myself because I'm not ashamed to be
I know people have been sending me the pictures.
human. I'm not ashamed to admit my life.
They're blaming that one on God.
Had many empty and speckled acts, but it's also perfectly imperfect. And it is my own, and I can't complain. I have a loving family.
You have for 15 minutes.
Friends, a loving husband. Yes, there's been a scandal, and it's not perfect.
I'm not. That's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. The scandal. I can't have been nice.
Giving it a chance, and there's so much good besides.
Good.
That.
I want you to give it a chance.
So good since that. And
good.
If it turns out to be the wrong decision, oh well, I'll move on.
Exactly. You don't know if it's the wrong decision in the moment. You can look back with hindsight, Captain Hindsight. But you don't know in the moment. I hope it does work out with Turd Chef. I genuinely hope it does.
Like I always do. We have a car, a condo by the ocean.
Nice. Better than me.
Pets, travel experience, the freedom to do whatever we want.
Do y'all notice something about what she just said? If you didn't, let me tell you what I noticed. So she's with Salah. What are the first things that she is listing about the goodness of her life with Salah? She's listing all the material things. We've got a car, we've got a condo, versus if you're in a happy marriage, I'm with a loving husband who supports me, who understands me, who is there for me. We do things together. Life is great. He's very romantic. What about the emotional side of the marriage? She's listing all the material things they have. So material things don't matter to me. Money doesn't matter to me. Starts off listing how great this marriage is, talking about the material goods. And why is she doing that? I feel she's doing that because that's all there is to the marriage. It's about money, having things. Well, things don't make a happy marriage, do they, Foodie? Because you've got the car. You've got the seaside condo that you barely step out of. But you're not happy. Hence the reason why you're going ham with the food.
To travel, and most importantly, I have my faith. I feel rich in many ways, and none have to do with money. You can always make
I don't think I've mentioned money in the script. It's about 60 pages long. I don't think I've mentioned money once. I will now that I know it gets to you.
Money comes and goes. Anyways, thanks for listening. I will end with saying that I will not be watching any of these new series.
You liar. I know.
You're right, Mr. Snowflake. She's a liar. Because even if she doesn't watch your docuseries or your documentary full strength, raw dogging it, she's going to see it on the reaction channels because she's always lurking in our audience. She's a narcissist. She has to research everything about herself, whether it's on Twitter or TikTok or YouTube. She's in people's comment sections under her different sock accounts. She's lurking in the audience. She watches FFG like religiously almost. She's everywhere. How can she get away from it? Because we're going to talk about it. We're going to react to it. We're going to show it on our channels. Yes, sir, we are. Because we know it's going to be well done. Very well done. So how can she get away from it? Even if she doesn't do that, which I highly doubt she won't do that, surely her beezers are going to see it and comment on it in her live chats and bring it up. And then she's going to tell on herself, saying things that allude to the fact that she's watched it somewhere. So she's lying. She's lying.
No, that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
About me or any reaction.
If you dislike my docuseries, quote unquote, I'll choose violence. I'll make a video crying 15 minutes.
I never watch their videos directly anyway. I have better things to do. Even picking
you genuinely don't.
And staring at the wall is more productive than watching someone discuss how I stir a pot for 3 hours or how I walk weird. Anyway,
Hey, I walk weird. You should have seen the outtakes for the Burke and Hare documentary I did. I didn't know I walk like a penguin. I was just doing that. I was like, right, walk in the distance, have a serious look on your face. Okay. And I just kept walking like I didn't know I walked weird.
guys, see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye, I'm not bothered. Bye, I got a lovely tone of voice. Oh, I'm starting to feel bad now that I made a rant. Oh, is that because well, was that a rant? People say like the Cuba rage rant was meant to be big, and there's been some other ones, obviously. I'm going to take credit for that one. God, it was just a 1 minute opening credit to get everybody excited. God, that's nuts. I can't believe she. I thought, oh, maybe she'll see the video, the 1 minute video, and I don't know. I thought, oh, maybe, imagine if she left a comment saying.
I mean, and something to be pointed out, Mr. Snowflake. She's a narcissist. I'm sure you've gathered that by just, if you didn't know much about Shantall, her behaving badly in this response, this rant video, if you will. I'm sure you've gathered that she's a narcissist. And you just put out the trailer. It just happened. And she's responding this fast. So I'm sure you've gathered that this narcissistic person, they pay attention to all areas of YouTube. All of them. She's everywhere. She's got eyes everywhere. Not even other people's eyes. Her eyes are everywhere. She's got nothing to do all day. Nothing to occupy her time. So what does she do? She scans YouTube and Twitter and TikTok, and she searches her name. It makes her feel good to know that people are talking about her. And like she said, even bad attention is good attention. It's like free publicity to her. That's why I'm wondering if all this outrage is, on the surface level, it looks like she's mad, but maybe beneath the surface, she's maybe excited that it could lead to extra views for her channel, extra subs that she doesn't have to buy. But you just put out the trailer and she's reacting like this quickly. It didn't even take a week. So that should tell you, like, she's every place. Every place.
Something. I didn't think she'd do a 15-minute video going, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. What makes you bothered? So
yeah, if you're unbothered, you don't comment about it. But if you're bothered, you comment about it like she just did.
I think you should be more upset about the end and spoilers.
Ooh.
Watch the Snowflake sitcom. I thought you'd be more upset about that. Snowflake sitcom, a video or two back from this. I thought you'd be more upset about that, but fine. Oh no, you're gonna watch that now and rant about I'm not bothered that Jimmy did that. I'm not bothered. Oh, I do feel bad. I know everyone's shouting at us now. Don't feel bad. This is what she wants. She's manipulating you. Can't manipulate me. No, I'm still going to make the documentary. I'm going to make it worse now. That was nice to do a little talking to myself for half an hour. I'm like Foodie. I'm not bothered. Thanks for watching. Sorry I upset you so much with a 1 minute. I can't believe you had a rant for 15 minutes about it. That's nuts. God, that's nuts. That's crazy. And then just totally went off topic. Can't make videos about it unless you live her life. That's it. No more Hitler documentaries from the History Channel because you haven't lived his life. No more documentaries about aliens. You're not allowed to make documentaries about anybody else but yourself. I say I've got one coming about me. It's about this YouTuber who overcomes these struggles to do that. Right, I'm gonna go. I don't wanna I'm sorry.
The very cheek, but I love it. The very cheek. Make sure to pointing at that YouTube silver play button, the one thing she wants so much. Love it. Love it. Just shove that in her face. Shove it in her face.
Upset you, Foodie. Episode 1 will be up in, I hope, a week. I'm gonna try me hard.
And by the way, Foodie, you see that silver play button? You see it? I'm sure Mr. Snowflake, because he's putting out the quality content, he spends time researching things and putting things together, making sure that all of the content is quality. He didn't have to buy subs for that. It just happened organically. That's something that you can't even claim.
Honest. A week, 2 weeks, I don't know. Hopefully soon, as soon as I can. Anyway, that was nuts. People warned me, said she's worse than Amber. She reacts well. You're right. I thought, if I just do a fair documentary, it'll be fine. But if she's like this after a 1 minute opening credits, what's she going to be like after a 2 hour?
Honestly, Mr. Snowflake, if she rages for days, weeks, because of your docuseries, before it even happens, can I just say, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Because unfortunately, the rages are the most interesting thing about her content. And as a reactor, we look for the interesting content. If she has total meltdowns, which she can choose not to do, but she will do because she needs interesting content, because she's not bothering to create interesting content or bring topics to the table, it'll add a little spice to the bland stew. So if that happens, and I'm sure it will, thank you, sir. Thank you. Even though that was not your intention to have all the reaction channels, thank you. Because she's getting really, really boring.
2 hours, yeah. Right. Sorry, I'm evil, everybody. Bye.
So that was the response video from Mr. Snowflake. And again, he handled it in a very classy, elegant way. Really appreciate that. But I wanted to add my thoughts in with Mr. Snowflake, and I'm not going to monetize this. I don't even care. I did this for fun. So I'm going to leave a link for Mr. Snowflake's channel and his video in the description. Please check him out. And if you happen to like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because I would really appreciate it. And all of you, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye now.